Shalom shalom lachem, shalom alechem, uvrachim boachem. Welcome to another video, and our first video actually within the Comprehensive Classical Hebrew series. Within this video we'll be looking at the alleged curse of Cham. Also, we should know that this is Kilath Canaan, which is actually the curse of Canaan. So today's reading will be coming from Sefer Bereshith, Perek Teis Pasuk Yod Chif. So let's get started. So I'll be reading this once, and then we will go through each word and break that down. Hava nelecha. Wayehu venenoah hayosiim min hatteva. Cham وحم ويافث وحم هو أبي خناعان شلوشا إل بن نوح ومئل نافثة خلها أرث ويحل نوح إيشها أذما ويته قارم ويشت من هياين ويشكور ويفقل بثخ أهلو ويرحم أبي خناعا إث إرواث أبيو ويجذ لشني إحاو بخوث ويكح شم ويفث إث حسيملا ويسيم على شخيم شهنهم ويلخو أحران نيث ويخسو إث إرواث أبيهم وفنهم أحران نيث وإرواث أبيهم لو رأو ويكاس نوح مينو ويدع إذ أشر أثالو بنو هكتن ويومر أرور كنعن آذذ أفضينيه لإحاو ويومر باروخ يهوه إلهي شم ويهي خنعن آذذ لامو يفت إلهيم ليافث ويشكون بإهولي شم ويهي خنعن آذذ لامو ويخينوح أحرهم مبول شلوش مئوث شنا وهمشيم شنا ويهي كل يمي نوح تيشا مئوث شنا وهمشيم شنا وياموث. So now we'll break down each and every word. And some words I will tell you the root, and some of them I won't, or else this will turn into a 3-hour video. So first we have here Wayehu, and it comes from the absolute infinitive hayo, which means to be. There are two infinitives in Hebrew, classical Hebrew that is. That is the absolute infinitive and the construct infinitive. In the infant stage of modern Hebrew, both were used and then one was dropped. Okay, so there are two, hayo and lechioth. Okay. We will only be concentrating on the absolute infinitive for now, okay? Lucky for you guys, you have to learn both. Hayo, to be. So this states plural existed or was. Okay? So wayehu venenoah. We know that bin in Hebrew means son. We know that Ben in Hebrew mean son of. We know that banim in Hebrew means sons. And now we know that bene in Hebrew means sons of. So this here is sons of. Now the reason why there's no daresh in the middle is because of this wow. Wayehu vene. Wayehu bene does not flow correctly. Wayehu vene is because of this wow. Okay, so this becomes Veth instead of Beth. Okay, so this is sons of whom? Sons of Noah. And this here is a Makef. Okay, Makef are supposed to tell the reader that there's a flow. Okay, so this would be Vene Noah instead of Vene Noah. So you pronounce it as one whole word. Vene Noah. This no longer exists in modern Hebrew. Okay? So Wayehu Vene Noah. So Bene Noah was, sons of Noah were, Hayosiim. Well, we have this verb. Ya-so. And yaso in Hebrew means to go forth. Okay, so we'll only be concentrating for now on the absolute infinitives. Okay? But you have to know both. Hayosim are the ones that were, are, or will be going forth or exiting. Okay? So the sons of Noah, the ones who were going forth, min means from in Hebrew. Okay? Min. And notice how there's a makef here, min hatteva, and not min hatteva. From this word right here, we can scratch off this for now, because this is the. We already know this. Teva in Hebrew means box. A type of box, which we know now as ark. So, sons of Noah, the ones who were coming from, or going out of, going forth, okay, the box or the ark. Okay, and then it says they were, and then it lists Cham, Cham, Wayafith. Okay? Now, funny enough, here is our first pause. This indicates that there is a pause. 1, 2, we're coming to the middle of the passage. Okay? So the reader knows that he has a little bit more to go. And this in itself is a story. Okay? All of this from here to here is a story within itself. Okay? Just by indicating it here. Now, we went through the wow, and this is wa, which means it's a pause. It's usually either in the middle, which we are in, or at the end. Okay? We'll get to this one soon. So, Wayafeth. In Hebrew, Yefeth is actually his name. But because we have a pause, it becomes Yafeth. And so it was translated in English as Japheth instead of Jepheth. Actually, Yefeth or Yafeth, okay? So this is a pause. So his name is Yefeth. Yafeth is a pause. Yafeth, okay? Let's continue. Weham hu avi Canaan. This here, sof pasuk. Sof meaning last or final. Pasuk meaning verse. At least in this context, it's verse. Okay? So remember this pause here. Remember this is a story. This is a story. And then this is a story. And then this is a story. Okay? So there's a continuation, a flow. So this here states that they were sons of Noah, the ones coming out from the ark or the box, Cham, Cham, and Yefeth. And Cham hu avi Canaan. Okay, so this already sets up the story, that they were sons of Noah, the ones who were coming out of the ark, by the names of Cham, Cham, and Yefeth. Okay? Now it goes on to state here that, and Cham, he is, or he, remember who, we have the pronoun who as he, so this is he. Avi, we know that Av in Hebrew is father, right? We know that Avi is my father. But what is father of? Well, that's Avi. Now the difference between Avi and Avi are just in pronunciation. Okay, so let me write this here instead. So this is Avi, and this here is Avi. Avi, Avi, father of, my father. Take it away. One wouldn't know until you have something that precedes it, okay? Or something that follows it. Precede or follow. That's the only way you'll know. But having these by itself without the nikuzos, you wouldn't know. Okay? So, let's go back. And Cham, he was, there is no was or is definite for in Hebrew, but you can tell by the context that this is was. He was the father of whom? Has to be someone or something. Canaan. 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 Okay? And notice, this is another pause since it's at the end of the verse. This sof pasuk shows us that. Okay? And notice here, this here is a pause. Because in fact, his name is this way. Canaan, rather than Canaan. So again, classical Hebrew, sound is imperative. Okay? Modern Hebrew, depends on who you talk to. Canaan versus Canaan. Okay? So we already established who is Cham, right? And we establish who were the sons of Noah. Cham, Cham, and Yefeth. Next, Shlosha ille bene Noah. We stop there, right? Because of, you guessed it. Now I won't tell you exactly what this is and the other functions of it until we get to that designated video, okay? There's so much that I can fit in one video. So, Shlosha ille bene Noah. Shlosha. Shlosha means three, okay? And this is designated for masculine or male words. This means these in Hebrew. Okay, let's get rid of that actually. So three, these. So what does this say? These three. Normally you'll see a he, and then you'll see a he here. So this will be Hashlosha ha'ille. Okay? But instead, it's like this. This is another shorthand way of saying the same thing. Shlosha ille. Next. And actually, let's put that back. Bene Noah. We know now what Bene is, right? From here. Sons. Now we know who Noah is. And I should write it this way instead. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So these three are sons of Noah. And it goes on to say, Ume'ille nafisa chol ha'aretz. Now we have this here. We know that's a wow, right? Why is it u and not we? That's because of the mim. Remember? Beth, pe, and mim becomes veth, fe, and still mim, but the wow now becomes u. Okay? Uv, uf, and okay? Ume'ille. Right? Min, shorthand. Mem comes from this. The noon falls away, or it quiesces, if you want to say that. It merges, if you want to say that. So it becomes ume'ille. So it's the same thing, but another shorthand way of saying it. So ume'ille, from these, we know ille means these from this. So from these, and then you have a verb. And this is nafos. Nafos in Hebrew means to break out. It means to something like something like shatter. Something like that. To break forth. Okay. Chol ha'aretz. Now, when you use this idiomatically, it will mean to populate. Why? What's breaking forth? Number one, it's a seed, right? That's one. Two, it's you're creating new things, or new generation, new people. So again, it goes back to populating. Okay? And this is the feminine of that because of this. Chol in Hebrew. And actually this will be kol, means all. Okay, let me write it here. And this means all. And then you have ha'aretz. We know that aretz in Hebrew means land or earth. Okay, it can mean country, so on and so forth. Okay, and then you have ha'aretz. Okay, and sof pasuk. So this ends the next verse. Right? Great. So remember, because of this word here, aretz, you use this feminine. Ume'ille nafisa chol ha'aretz. Okay? And again, the maqif, chol ha'aretz. Here, min ha'teva. Here, bene Noah, or bene Noah, when it's nothing's preceding it. Okay? Same thing here, bene Noah. Let's continue. ويحل نوح إيش هأذما. Pause right here. So let's start here. ويحل. This comes from this word, this verb right here. And this is halol. Halol in Hebrew means to profane or to begin. Okay. And guess which one it is right now? It's to begin. And he began. Who began? Noah began. Okay. Ish in Hebrew means man or person. Right? Ha'adama. What does that mean? We know that this means the. Adama, land. It can mean soil as well. Okay, so he began to be what? A man or person of the soil. Now, something you should know about Hebrew, classical Hebrew, less words, the best. Okay? It's much like how West Indians or Caribbean, those who are from there speak. Everything is very shorthand. Okay? No need to add in words to fill things out. Okay? Very shorthand. So what does a man or person of the soil or land mean? Well, remember Cain? He was Oved Adama. Right? Avad or Avod in Hebrew means to serve. Right? So he was Oved Adama. So if he's serving the land or soil, what is that? It's the same thing as Ish ha'adama. So you are either a tiller or what we will call right today a farmer, without the or a cultivator, someone who works the land without the animals. Okay, that's what he is right now. So we pause right there. We're telling the story that who Noah is. This is the first time that we're introducing who Noah is or what his title is. Okay? Now, it doesn't say Oved Adama as this is his profession or what he's doing all the time. It's not something that he's continuously doing. Okay? It's different than, it's a bit different than Oved Adama. We'll get into how we understand these things and such later. So let's continue. And we'll stop here at the Sof Pasuk. Wayitta Karim. Okay, what's that? We have Wayitta, and that comes from this verb. Natoa. Natoa in Hebrew means to plant. Okay, so what did Noah plant, being Ish ha'adama? He planted Kerem. Remember I said you have pausal forms? Well, remember, this is Sof Pasuk. Because it's at the end here, this is now pausal. So the correct way of saying this is Kerem. And Kerem is vineyard. Okay? Noah was Ish Adama, right? Haya Noah Ish Adama. Wayitta Kerem. But since it's at the end, Karem, right? Wayesht min hayayin wayeshkor. Okay, wayesht. This is a verb. Comes from this verb, shafo, which means to drink. Okay. So, from what did he drink? Well, if he has a vineyard, min means from. And then we see here yayin, which is wine. We know that this is the, right? From the wine. Yayin. That's wine, right? And then you have min. Now, one thing about min also that you have to remember is that it's usually, there may be once or twice you'll see it in the opposite direction or the opposite way that I'm telling you right now. It's primarily with the he. So from the, it wouldn't be from a. You'll have it like this here, okay? When it's from a king, you say memelech. When you say from the king, it could be min hamelech, okay? Mimelech, from a king. Min hamelech, from the king. Or mehamelech, from the king. I'll write that for you right now if this would behave itself. Great. Okay, so min hamelech, right? Then you have let's write this a bit closer. And that shouldn't be there. It should be there. There we go. Mimelech. And then we have here we go. So min hamelech is the same as mehamelech. Mimelech is a king, right? This is from the king, which is definite. This is indefinite because it's any king. And then you have here the same thing, mehamelech, from the king. Okay? So this is stating from the wine. So he drank from the wine. And we have another verb, vayishkor. So this is shachor. Shachor in Hebrew means to be drunken or to become drunken. Okay. So to be drunken and to become drunken. Okay? So he became drunken off of what? Well, he was drinking wine, so off of the grapes which he what? Planted. Since he was a what? Ish ha'azama. Right? Okay. Let's continue, since this was the pause. Vayithgal besoch oholo. This comes from this word right here, galo. Galo in Hebrew means to remove. Okay, or strip. Well, he's drunk. It doesn't say what he removed, but I think you could fill in the blank. Vayithgal, okay, so he removed besoch oholo. Now, another breakdown. This beth is a preposition. And this preposition states that it's in. It has many meanings, okay, many meanings. We'll get into a separate video of what the meanings are, okay? But for now, this is within, it's in, okay, just here. So we have be, which is beth, right? And then we have this. Talech. Beith and then talech. So this is within. And then this is within. Or inside. Or middle. Right? And often you have the preposition plus the adverb together. Okay? And this is more definite than you using the beith by itself. This is more definite. Just like how you have the wow, and the wow has so many meanings. And instead of me saying however or but, I can use ulam, I can use aval, I can use ach, right? Instead of wow. You have one that might be more ambiguous than the other one. This one here is less ambiguous. This one can be. Okay? But again, it depends on the flavor of the speaker, whatever the speaker wants to convey. And they are, of course, all interchangeable and sometimes not interchangeable. Okay, oholo. Oholo, this comes from this word. Ohel. Ohel is tent, right? So oholo is his tent. Okay? Oholo. This is irregular and I'll get into that later. Okay, so he removed within his tent. And this here could mean it's in the middle of or in the heart of, okay, the tent. And we just ended that little story we had. Next, Wayar ham avi khana'an is erwath of you. And we pause right here. This comes from this verb, ra'o. Ra'o in Hebrew means to see or to look upon favorably, depending upon the context. And it has other meanings as well. Okay? But for now, ra'o, to see. Who saw? Ham saw. What did he see? Avi. We know from here what that means, right? Avi? Avi, father of. Whose father? Father of Canaan, right? Remember, this is pause, the chamis, and then you have this small indicator right here. We'll get into what this is later. And then we have Canaan here, which is the regular way of writing and saying his name correctly. So Canaan versus Canaan. Okay? With the darish in the middle. And again, because of the yod, this becomes ch. Okay? So Avi Canaan and Avi Canaan. So Ham saw, father of whom? Canaan. And this is Ham, the father of him. Okay. He saw what? Erwath. Erwath comes from erwa. Erwa. And erwa means nakedness. And also, remember the story of Adam and Hawa? Well, what happened with their nakedness? That was shame as well. So this is synonymous. Nakedness with shame. Understand the culture, understand the story. Okay? So, what did the father of Canaan see? He saw the nakedness, erwath. Okay? So when it's nakedness of, it's erwath. Nakedness, erwa. So again, pronunciation is key. Erwa, nakedness. Erwath, nakedness of. And whose? Of you. Remember? Avi, my father. Aviu, his father. So he saw the nakedness of his father. Pause right here. Again, this is following a good story, right? Wayehu venenoah hayosiim min hatteva Shem weham wayafith weham hu avi Chanaan. It already set up who Ham was, right? Bingo. Shelosha ille benenoah. It already stated that Noah had 3 sons, right? 3 of these sons of Noah. And from these sprouted or populated the earth. Okay? Wayahel Noah ish ha'adama, and began Noah to be what? Ish ha'adama, right? So in turn, he planted Wayitta Karam. So he planted a vineyard. Karam. Great. Next. Wayesh min hayayin, and he drank from the wine. Wayeshkor. So then, or as a result, he became drunk. Okay? Wayesgal besoch oholo. And he stripped or he removed from or within the from himself within oholo, his tent, right? Wayar Ham avi Chanaan is erwath aviu. And he saw, who saw Ham, the father of Canaan, his father's nakedness or his father's shame, which is a no-no, right? Next, Wayaged lishne echau bahus, and we pause right, well, we stop right here, okay? Wayagid, this comes from this verb narod, which means to make known. Okay, we'll say that, which equals or is the equivalent to tell. So narod, to make known. So what did he make known? Well, it just stated that he saw his father's nakedness. He made known, we have the lamed here, which is a preposition, just like the beith here, right? So this lamed, for simplicity's sake, this is to. So to shene, you have both, or two, but here it's both. Ehau, you have ah as brother, and then you have ahim as brothers, and then you have now ehau as his brothers. Lishne, to both his brothers. So lishne ehau, and not lishne ehau. Remember the makif? You say this together. Wayagid lishne ehau bahus. Ba. There's that base again, that preposition, just like you have it here. But this is ba, okay? And ba, it's the same thing. Okay, this is outside. Hus is outside, okay? Hus is outside. Wow. Okay? Now this, the only thing with this base here is that this is an indicator where something is taking place. Okay? So this shows, or this tells someone that is taking place, whatever the action is taking place outside. Bahus, right? Rath, bahus. Okay? And not rath, lahus instead. And that'll be hahusa. For those who are a bit more advanced. Okay? So, lishne ehau, he made known to both his brothers outside. Making it known he did it outside. Okay? Next, ויקח שם ויפף את השמלה וישימו על שכם שניהם וילכו אחורנית ויכסו את ערוות אביהם. That's a mouthful, and we'll break it up. Okay? Now, we have here ويكح, right? ويكح comes from la koach, and la koach means to take in Hebrew. So who took what? Well, let's continue. Shem wa yefef. Notice, even though there's a wa here, it's still yefef rather than wa yafef. Okay, why is that? Well, this is not the middle of the passage. Guess where the middle of the passage is? All the way over here. Right? But because, number one, Yefeth, you have Shem wa Yefeth are usually together, you have the wow, this wow here, because they're usually together, usually seen together. Shem wa Yefeth, just like you have Tohu wa Vohu. Okay? Again, in part 2, I will expound upon this wow even further. Okay? For those who still are a little lost or still are beginning. Okay? Now you're saying to yourself, well, this is a verb that indicates that it's one person doing the action, right? Well, not necessarily. Wayikah Shem Wayefeth. You have two people doing this action. But either they're doing it simultaneously or they're on one accord in doing so. That is why you say wayikah instead of wayikehu, which will be an they. But they're acting as one. And this is usually how it's in classical Hebrew. Okay? Modern Hebrew, again, tries to standardize or structure something that has been working for so long. But again, it goes back to types of people. Okay? Who has the language in authority now versus who had it then. Okay? So certain things have been stripped away. Wayikah Shem Wayefef Ef Hasimla. Right? Simla in Hebrew means dress or garment, right? Garment. And this is not female dress. Please understand that. It's like the Afar. It's like the Bedouin. Okay? That's a male dress, not a female dress. Okay? So they took the dress or the garment, right? The dress. Let's just stick to that. And what did they do with it? Well, now here, wayasimu. Well, we have, instead of wayasim, we have wayasimu. And this comes from this. Sim means to place, to put, and it also means to set. Okay, and there's one more verb that you should know. Yeah, there we go. Sheath. Okay, same thing. This one's older, more archaic. Okay, so this one's more ancient than this. Okay, same thing. That was a footnote. You don't really need to know that until you find that in scripture. Okay, That one isn't used as much. Wayasimu, and they place, they set al, which means upon, and al shechem. Remember this makefir, al shechem. And forgot to tell you, so with the f, when it's like this, it's usually with a makif, okay? And again, this now, from if, by itself, when this is not there, it's if. When it's with the makif, it becomes f. Okay, as I said before, in modern Hebrew, it's try-stabilizing this. Al-Shechem, Shechem in Hebrew. What does that mean? Shechem means shoulder. So upon shoulder, and then you have place. They placed upon shoulder of, this could mean shoulder or shoulder of. Okay? Shnehem. Just like you have here. Where are we? Okay, just like we have here. You know that this is two or both, right? And it's actually both. Then you have hem, right? Let's take that out. Put that here again. Hem. Now you know him in Hebrew means they or them, right? Now this is both, and then you have them. Both of them. So both of whose? Both of their. They're both, okay? So وَيَسِيمُ عَلْ شَخَيْمِ شَنَهِمْ, on both of their shoulders. Okay? وَيَلِخُوا أَحْرَانِيف وَيْخَسُوا إِفْ إِرْوَاثْ أَبِيهِمْ. Let me pause again, right? So this comes from this verb. Let's put this here. Haloch. And haloch means to walk. It means to go. Okay? So haloch. Well, where do they go? Or where do they walk? Well, they walked ahoranith, backwards. Okay? Waichasu, another verb, comes from this here, kaso, and kaso means to conceal. Okay? I think I've done this video at least 3 or 4 times, because when it comes to these type of lessons, I try doing them on the fly instead of writing them down. It starts to get long, very long, very long. Okay, so this means to conceal, and they concealed, or they hid, okay, concealed if. Now notice you have if here, and notice you have f here. That is because of the makif. F hasimla, you say it together. If, just by itself. Waichasu if erwaf. F hasimla. F if. F if. Okay? Same meaning, different pronunciation. If erwas, we know what erwas is. Erwa. What is that? Nakedness or shame, right? Avihem. Okay, well, what is Avi? Father of. What is him? Them or they. So, hem now. Okay, remember in classical Hebrew there's a lot of accent changes. So, Avi hem. What does that mean? Father of them, which is equal to their father. So let's go back again and see. Waichasu if erwaf avihem. So they concealed, right, the nakedness of their father. Now we pause here. Why did they do it? Well, we go back all the way here, right? So we have Wayar Ham Avi Chna'an if Erwath Avihem Wayaged Lishne Echal Bahus. So he told them, because he told them. And now Wayikah Shem Wayefeth As Hasimla Wayathimu al Shechem Shenehem Wayelechu Ahoranith Waychasu if Erwath Avihem. Okay. Next. Ufnehem ahoranith wa erwath avihem lo ra'u. Full stop. Right? So, we have this. Now remember, just like the beith, and you have the waw here, uvne, you have ufne. Right? So, ufnehem, this comes from panim, which means faces in Hebrew. There's no such thing as face that we know of. Okay, so panim, faces. Then we have, take this. You have pene, faces of, and then you have them. Faces of them, well, this is possessive, their faces. So, and their faces, again, ahoranis means what? Backwards. So essentially it's saying that their faces was the opposite way. And here's that word again, erwas avihem. Okay, we know what avihem is, right? Erwas avihem, we know what erwas is, we know what avihem is. Okay, so what's this? Lo. Lo, shelila, which is a negative, right? So, lo is what? Sometimes it's written this way. Okay? And it's usually when it's like this. Hello. Lo means not, no, negative. Okay? Another footnote for you. Be, lo, also means without. Okay? Be also means with. Lo, not having. So, without. Without. With not having is without. Okay, that's one way of saying without. So, we have this, and it comes from this verb again, this infinitive, ra'o, which means, again, to see. Okay? So, because their faces were turned, and they were walking backwards, right? As what? Not to see their father's shame, or their father's nakedness. Now, this is where it gets juicy. Let's continue. Now, remember, this is supposed to be a curse of Cham, right? Now, I'm telling you now, please bear in mind this first verse that you see. Yod Chilf, bear in mind, okay? Wayehu venenoah hayosiim min hatteva Shem weham wayafeth. Right? Weham hu avi chena'an. Okay, again. Weham hu avi chena'an. So he is the father of Canaan. Okay? Okay. So we have here Wayikayes Noah miyeno, right? Well, you have Yakos. Yakos in Hebrew means to awaken. Let me write that better for you. Or to awake. Right? So who woke up? Noah did. And from where? Well, we have this mem again. Let's get rid of that. We have that mem. Remember min. So then we have yayin. So this is min, yayin, and then we have this pronominal suffix, which means that it is him who is possessing this wine. So from his wine, from the wine of him. So he woke up from his wine. Well, what does that state? We have a very colorful way of depicting things. From his drunkenness. Okay? So he woke up from his drunkenness, from his wine, which he drank, from the grapes which he planted, being what? Ish ha'adama. Okay? So, let's continue. Wayeda eth asher asalo beno hakatan. Okay? Wayeda comes from this, yadoa. And this means to know, amongst other things. Okay? So he knew eth asher asa lo. This means which. Okay? So he knew what. And funny thing is, this together, eth asher asa. Let's do this first. So we have asa. Right? Asol in Hebrew means to do or to make. Right? So asa and asol. Now, eth asher. In modern Hebrew, you have it like this, or why is this? Okay, like that. Okay, so this is an abbreviation of this. You just take away this, and you just take away that, and you have it. Okay, this goes there. Boom, you have this. This is the same thing as asher, but you have ma as in what. He knew that which was he did to him. Okay, this is the newer, let's say newer version of it. Okay, this is still written, but not so much. So I want you guys to please remember this. Please remember this. It's asher. Okay, it'll be significant from this point onward. Asa we have as done, or well, yeah. Then you have the makef here. So this is asher asa. Asher asa instead of asher asa. Okay. Lo, we have the lamed as a preposition. Remember, it means to. And then we have the waw by itself. This is a pronominal suffix. Him, his, right? Which is possessive now. So to him. To him. So he knew that which was done, or that which he did to him, instead of was done. Okay. Beno, no need to say to have filler words. You have beno hakatan. This is another shorthand way of saying something. In modern Hebrew, this will be a bit longer. This cuts down on so much things. Okay, so wayeda es asher asalo beno hakatan. I don't need to say by blah blah blah. No, his son, the youngest one. This is small. So we know that Cham is the youngest son. Okay? Because of this. Now, I know there's a lot of people who say, no, it's this person, this person, this person. I only can go off of this. Okay? Now, the other, to make it unambiguous, it'll be Sa'ir, which is younger. But this actually means little, okay? Or small. It could mean middle, or it could mean the ending one. But again, it's ambiguous. So that's why there's still fight over who's whom, and, you know, who's the eldest and who's the youngest still. But I only could go off of this. Okay? Next. Wayomer. This is the juicy part. Wayomer. Arur Khana'an. We pause. Wayomer starts amor, and amor means to say, to, what's the other one in English? In English, to intend, and also to think. Okay, these here are more idiomatic. This one here is more definite, to say. Okay. So he said, Arur. Arur, right? This means cursed in Hebrew. Cursed. There's no such thing as is in classical Hebrew. Exactly. Canaan. So Arur. Arur. Canaan. Arur Canaan. This is the middle of the passage. That's why it's Canaan and not Canaan. Okay? Arur Canaan. This is cursed. This is a passive form of the verb. Just like how you have Baruch in Hebrew, which means blessed. It means blessed. This is not an imperative to say, bless him. This is blessed is he. Baruch. Okay? Blessed is, let's say, Avraham. Baruch Avraham. Blessed is Avraham. Not bless Avraham. This is not an imperative. I'm not saying to bless him. That's this. Barech. That's an imperative. You are commanding someone to do something. Same thing with arur. Okay? Arur comes from this. Aror. To curse. This is one way of, one verb of saying to curse. Okay? This is one way. So this is cursed is Canaan. We pause here. Aved, avadim, yehyeh le'echal. So he goes on to say, slave, which is aved, or you can say servant, of servants, because you have aved here, which is that, and then you have avadim, avadim, which is the plural of this. Let's put rabbim. Okay, plural of avad, and this is right, zachar, male. So servant of servants. Okay, and then you have yehyeh, comes from hayo, which means to be. Okay, so again, wayomer arur keda'an, Aved avodim yehyeh le'echal. Yehyeh is he will be. So he will be to his brothers. Remember? Lamed echal, to his brothers. So cursed is Canaan, servant or slave or worker of workers or slave of slaves or servant of servants. He will be to his brothers. Okay? And then it goes on to say, even more juicy, Wayomer. Same thing, same amor. Okay? Wayomer Baruch Yahweh Elohei Shem. Now he makes sure to say the name of Yah, right? So Baruch means blessed, like blessed are thou. Baruch atah, Baruch atah, right? Blessed are thou. Okay? Or blessed are you. So this again is passive form of the verb. This is not an imperative stating that bless you or bless the child. Blessed is the child. Blessed was the child will be something else, and we'll get into that. Okay? Same thing if you have pasuah. Pasuah in Hebrew means opened. Again, this is passive form of the verb. Pasuah. Okay? So, blessed. Yah Elohei Shem. Blessed is Yah, right? Yah is blessed. The deity of, or the deities of the gods of Shem, right? Wihi Chena'an. Wihi Chena'an, right? Aved Lamo. So, again, pause right here. Wihi. This comes from, again, Hayo. To be. However, this is now jussive. We'll get into jussive and cohortative later. Right now, you just need to know this means let him be. Just like Yah when he says Yehi or, Waihi or, right? This is Yehi, which is equal to let him, it be, right? So he's saying, Noah is saying, let him be. Well, let him be what? Wihi Chena'an. Again, Aved Lamo. So Canaan, because he is cursed, Canaan, okay, and he is the son of who? Ben Cham. Ben Cham. Cham who? Haya avi Chena'an. Okay? So, servant he is. Servant. So let Canaan be a servant. And this is the same thing as here. Lo and Lamo. One is older, this one, and this one is also poetic. You'll see this in Psalms, and I think in Proverbs, okay? Lo, Lamo. And again, this is also pausal. Lamo, Bamo, Kamo. Okay? To him. And then we have the Sof Pasuk. So whatever is stated has been stated. So you have this here, you have Kafe, you have Kaf Wow. Next, Kaf Zain. So let's continue. We have Yaft Elohim leyafef weyeshkon be'ohole Shem. So another verb. We have פתוח. פתוח means to open, to widen, and a slew of other definitions. But right now, it's Yaft Elohim leyefef. Again, this is adjusive. This is saying, let be open, let be widen, wow, okay, and well, widen what and who? Yaft Elohim leyefef. So let Elohim widen Yefef. Okay, his name is Yefef. So let Elohim widen or open Yefef. Well, what exactly? Well, what follows this will tell you. And actually what preceded this you'll be able to understand. Okay? Vayishkon be'ehole Shem. Okay, so we have this new verb. This verb, shachon, which means to dwell, to live, right? To dwell, to live. And from this root, you have shin, you have kaf, and you have nun. From this very root come other words, just like all of the words. Okay, but one in particular that I want you to pay attention to is this one, shachen, and this means neighbor. Neighbor. So this means to dwell, and it could mean to dwell alongside. Okay, this means to live. Well, who lives alongside or besides? Neighbor. Okay. So this is stating that he will be, okay, it has been done, and he will be. Okay, it's hard for me to explain this within English so you can understand completely. But this is a past tense, but still future tense. Okay, it has been done. He's cursed him. That's it. Okay, it is now in place. Okay, so vayishkon, which is dwelling. You have be'ohole. You have the beth. Remember. So this is within, in. And then you have ohole, and it comes from ohel, and ohel is tent, and then you have ohalim. Ohalim is tents, so ohalim, and then you have ohole, tents of. This is irregular. Okay? For those who are now beginning, this is irregular, okay? But instead of bethoch, ohole, you have be'ohole, right? So no need for this. Okay, you just add the beth here, and then it's be'ohole. Be'ohole Shem, and again we have the makef. Be'ohole Shem, within the tents of Shem, right? So it's stating that, where is he? There we go. Canaan will be, and it's already done. Okay, he will be in the tents of Shem. He'll dwell there. Okay. Vayishkon be'ohole Shem. Wihi Chanaan. And let him be, we have it again, and let him be, who be, Canaan, Aved Lamo. So, Canaan will be and continue to be a servant of servants. Okay, a servant to whom? To Yefeth and to Cham. Okay? So, both of these two men, okay? And another thing to bring up, always with we should know that when we say it's blood. Brother or brother. Bruv. Brethren. And the list goes on. It could be bro. Okay. This is fairly new. But yes, this does not really mean that the blood is tied in, but it can be kinship too. Okay? Now, Noah had to be pissed in order to do this. Okay? I do not know what type of relationship Canaan had to Cham exactly, but when we go down further here, we'll see Toledoth Kol Bene Noah. Okay? All of this, the sons of Noah. I'm just gonna go to Cham. Okay? So let's continue for now. Waihi Noah Ahar Hamabul. This is Hayo. Not Hayo, but Hayo. Ha-yo. So Hayo is to live. Okay? And who lived? Well, Noah lived. Har means after. One of the words for after. After the great flood. Hammabul. Mabul, great flood. Hammabul, the great flood. Okay? A great flood. So why he Noah Ahar Hammabul Shalosh Me'oth Shalosh 3, and this is Smichus. Okay, this is construct state. For those who do not know, we will be going over this in a separate video. So this is 3. This comes from Mea, which is 100. Mea. Meoth when it's more than 3. Well, when it's more than 200, because this becomes Masaim. Okay, for 200. So when it's 300 and up, it's Shalosh Meoth, Arba Meoth. Okay, so 300, and then we have year. Now the good thing about Hebrew, classical Hebrew that is that you actually don't need to, certain words need not be in plural state. Okay, you can look at it as a collective. Just like son and bakar are collectives. Sometimes dag are collective. Okay? Sometimes. And dag is fish. Sometimes people say fishes, some people say fish. That's pretty much with time. When it comes to time, you need not say shanim, which is plural form of this. So 300 years. This is years. Okay? Wahameshim, and 50 years. Okay? Waihi, this comes from Hayo. Hayo means to be. Kol Yeme Noah, all Kol Yeme Noah, kol yemei Noah. Okay, notice how you have two. Kol yemei Noah. All of the days of Noah. So you have Yamim, you have Yom, Yamim, days, day, and then you have Yemei, okay, and which means days of. All the days of, which equates to the life. I love classical Hebrew. It's not as straightforward as modern Hebrew. Modern Hebrew, again, for me, it's like copy of English. And again, we have here Teisha, 9. Meoth, Mea, 900. So all of days of Noah, 900 years and 50 years, right? Vayamos. And this is mus, which means to die. And he died after the 950 years which he lived. Okay? Bingo. So again, to reiterate, I do not know the significance of Canaan to Cham. I don't know if he was the eldest, if he was the youngest, if he was the middle child, if he had some great importance to Cham that he might have been the youngest. If Cham was the youngest to Noah, Canaan, right? Canaan could have been the youngest to Cham, right? It's usually your precious. The youngest is usually your baby. Someone to whom you invest so much time into. I mean that's usually the first and the last. But in this case, who knows? For him to be this wroth with Cham, and him being Hakatan, right? I only could surmise that maybe Canaan was the youngest to Cham. Now we're reading from Perek Yod, right? And this is Pasuk Aleph. Pasuk Aleph. Ve'ele solezoth bene Noach, Cham, Cham, Vayafeth, Vayiwalezu lahem banim ahar hamabul. And we pause. Well, we stop here, right? And these are the generations, or the descendants, or, well, descendants. For those who don't want to say descendants, these are the generations of sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Yefeth, right? Vayiwalezu, and they were born to them sons or children, but in this instance it's sons, after the great flood, right? Right? We stop here. So what I wanted to get to was okay. Wow. Pasuk wow. Uvne Ham. And we pause here. Cush, one son of Ham. Misraim, Misraim, right? Then we have Put, Ufut. And then we have Uchena'an, right? So he had three other brothers. So he had 3 brothers, right? So to these 3 brothers, Canaan would be a servant which is subservient to them. So to all three of his brothers. Which means this story goes deeper than deep. Or within the culture, I'm still trying to draw out exactly what. I'm trying to piece together, okay, piece by piece, everything. But I'll get it someday. But the significance between, or the type of dynamic between these brothers and the dynamic between him and his father, I do not know. But it has to be something. So it says here, Wayomer arur kana'an aved avadim yihye le'echao, right? So who will be, Canaan will be a servant of servants or a slave of slaves. He will be to his brothers, right? So who are his brothers again? Cush, Misraim, and Put, right? It also states, Wihi Chena'an Aved Lamo, to whom? To Shem, right? And let Canaan be a servant to Shem. Yaft Elohim leyefeth v'yishkon be'ohole Shem, right? Wihi Chena'an Aved Lamo. So he will also be a servant to whom? To Shem. To Yefeth, right? And Yah will also open up the tents of Yefeth as well. Okay? Now, if you go through the generations and then go through who we fought, you'll see. We had to fight the Canaanites, right? We're unable to drive them out. We had to fight all of his descendants and were unable to drive all of them out. And so, did they not dwell within our tents, which is our surrounding? Yes, they did. So that curse was still in play. After that stopped, we continued to be with them. We still continue to be with them. I mean, that curse may or may not have been and I don't like saying good thing, but everything happens for reasons, right? There's no such thing as serendipity. But the thing is, we have to watch our words. Always do. Because with being subservient, or with being a servant or a slave or a person who has to be under someone, it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Okay? So watch what we say. As I said before, Yah spoke and it was done. That's why I always go back to say, your language, what you say, how you say it holds weight. Okay? Don't take it so lightly. Don't take it so lightly. But in the future, I will want to make a maybe second or third video following this up. Okay? So, shalom, shalom.